Hi, welcome to RAR Math. Today I'm doing a series of videos on inequalities and interval notation. So what I need to do first is I need to solve this inequality. So E is being multiplied by 4 and divided by 5. There are two ways of solving this. I'll show you both ways. One way is I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 so that I have negative 4E is less than 150. And then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. Now, when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip your inequality sign. That's the rule. Multiply or divide by a negative, flip this symbol so that E is greater than a negative. Now, 4 doesn't go into 150, so I'm going to reduce this by 2. I'm going to get negative 75 halves. I'm not going to decimal. First of all, I started off with a fraction. Second of all, I really don't like decimals. I would much prefer a fraction. Now I said I was going to show you another way of doing this. Negative 4e over 5 is less than 30. I know you're saying, but the negative is out front. It can float seamlessly from the numerator, denominator, and out front. I'm just putting it up front. This is really the same as negative 4/5 e is less than 30, which means I can flip and multiply. Negative 5/4, negative 5/4. Notice that I'm still multiplying by 5 and dividing it by 4, but in this case I get it in one shot so that E is greater than, I'm still going to reduce this, but this is going to become a 15. I'm still going to end up with negative 75 halves. Okay, I'm going to draw my number line and I'm going to put in negative infinity and positive infinity because I find that that's one area students get wrong a lot, where they will mix up the negative and positive infinity and which goes on the left and which goes on the right. All I'm going to put in for my number line is negative 75 halves. I'm not asking that you know what this is as decimal. We don't need any other decimal. We don't need any other tick marks. We just need one to note that if E is greater than it, then E is all of these values. Because there's no equal sign, I'm going to use a parenthesis instead of an open circle because E is reaching for this number but not touching, and you can kind of see the path a hand would take when it reaches. So for interval notation, I'm going to have parenthesis, negative 75 halves, comma, positive infinity, parenthesis. Okay, now the next one. This one has a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this 8. 4 goes into 8, but 6 doesn't. 8 plus 8 is 16. 4 is going to go into anything 8 goes into, so I don't really need to follow that along, but 6 doesn't go into 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. 6 does go into 24. So 24 is what I need to multiply. I have three terms here, 3/4 f, negative 1/6, and 5/8. I'm going to multiply 24 to each of my terms. It's the same as multiplying both sides by 24. I'm just automatically distributing it per term. And the reason I do this is because then I can say 4 goes into 24 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18, and I have 18f. So 4, 24, 6. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 4 times 1 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 8 goes into 24 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. By multiplying each term by 24, I've taken this problem that looked very ugly, very fraction-y, very intimidating, and I'm left with something that looks very approachable. This looks like a much simpler problem. All I need to do now is add 4 to both sides so that 18f is greater than or equal to 19, and then divide by 18. I find that fraction problems are really intimidating to a lot of students, but if you have an equality or inequality symbol, you can automatically clear your fraction and you end up with a problem that is much more approachable and it's conceptually easier. This looks much easier than this was. Add, divide. Here it was still add, divide, but with the fractions it adds an extra layer of complexity. We don't need to keep it. All we need to do is clear our fraction, solve our problem. All right, so now I'm going to go with my number line. Again, negative infinity, positive infinity, tick mark with positive 19/18. I don't need any other tick marks, just that one. F is greater, so I'm going this way. There's an equal sign there, so I'm going to use a bracket instead of a parenthesis because we reach for it and we hit it like hitting a wall. So my interval notation is going to be bracket 19 over 18, comma, infinity, in parentheses, will never equal infinity. Infinity, positive or negative, always gets a parenthesis because it's a concept which we can never actually touch. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks!